For over 2,000 years, the most powerful emperors on Earth chased one impossible dream: immortality. And in ancient China, they believed it could be created. This wasn't just a fleeting fantasy. It was a state-sponsored, empire-wide obsession that consumed vast fortunes and countless lives. The quest for eternal life was the ultimate project, the grandest ambition of civilizations that believed they stood at the center of the world. What secrets did they uncover? And what terrible price did they pay for daring to defy death itself? Ancient China was not just a kingdom of emperors and warriors, grand palaces and epic battles. It was a civilization deeply, profoundly obsessed with defeating the one enemy no army could conquer: death. From the legendary first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, to the rulers of the mighty Han and Tang dynasties, the pursuit of immortality was no mere fairy tale. It was a matter of state policy. The most brilliant minds, the alchemists, were summoned to the imperial court. Fortunes that could build entire cities were spent on their experiments. And in the shadows of history, some men, brave explorers and dedicated scholars, disappeared forever, dispatched on perilous journeys in search of a life without end. This is the story of that quest, a journey into a world where science, magic, and the human desire for eternity collided in a spectacular and often deadly fashion. At the heart of this epic pursuit was the Elixir of Immortality. Chinese alchemists, the proto-scientists of their age, believed that eternal life could be brewed, distilled, and consumed. They operated in secret laboratories, surrounded by bubbling cauldrons, arcane charts, and substances believed to hold the very essence of the cosmos. Their philosophy was a complex blend of Taoist mysticism and practical experimentation. They believed that by consuming materials that were themselves incorruptible, a human could absorb their eternal properties. The most prized ingredient was cinnabar, a bright red mercury sulfide ore. To the alchemists, its ability to transform from a solid mineral into liquid mercury and back again was a powerful symbol of death and rebirth. They saw it as a key to unlocking the cycle of life itself. Gold, another incorruptible metal, was often liquefied through complex and dangerous processes to be added to these potent brews. They called it potable gold, jade, a stone deeply associated with purity and immortality in Chinese culture, was ground into a fine powder and mixed in, believed to imbue the drinker with its enduring spirit. These were not just random concoctions. They were based on intricate theories of yin and yang, the five elements wood, fire, earth, metal, and water, and the flow of cosmic energy, or qi. To these alchemists, chemistry was a form of magic, a way to manipulate the fundamental building blocks of the universe. And magic, in their eyes, was simply a science yet to be fully understood. The formulas were whispered through generations, guarded as state secrets, each alchemist adding their own discoveries, their own dangerous innovations to the great work. They were pioneers on the very edge of human knowledge, venturing into a chemical world that was both wondrous and lethal. But the quest for immortality wasn't confined to the alchemist's lab. If an elixir couldn't be brewed on Earth, perhaps it could be found in a place beyond the known world. Ancient Chinese texts spoke of mythical lands, islands of the blessed that lay hidden somewhere in the Eastern Sea. These weren't just stories. To the emperors, they were coordinates to a real destination. The most famous of these was Penglai, a legendary mountain island where immortals were said to dwell in palaces of gold and platinum. The air itself was said to grant longevity. The fruits on its trees conferred eternal youth, and a magical fungus of immortality grew wild upon its shores. Driven by these tales, emperors launched massive maritime expeditions. Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor, famously sent a fleet of ships under the command of the court sorcerer Su Fu. He was given thousands of young men and women, craftsmen and supplies, tasked with one mission: find Penglai and bring back the elixir of life. The fleet set sail into the vast, unknown Pacific and was never heard from again. Did they find the island and choose to stay? Or did the unforgiving ocean claim them all? We may never know. Generations of emperors followed suit, sending their own fleets into the misty, uncharted waters. It was the ancient world's equivalent of the space race, a monumental effort fueled by a single, desperate hope. Many of these explorers never returned, becoming ghosts in the annals of history. The few who did make it back were often changed. Some returned with nothing but tales of terrifying storms and monstrous sea creatures. Others came back silent, their minds broken by the ordeal. And a few returned seemingly insane, raving about shimmering islands that appeared and vanished in the fog, and ethereal beings who warned them away. These voyages into the unknown only deepened the mystery, transforming the search for immortality from a scientific quest into a spiritual and terrifying odyssey. The irony, the dark and tragic truth at the center of this 2,000-year quest, is that the very elixirs designed to grant eternal life were, in fact, potent poisons. The key ingredients, mercury and arsenic, that the alchemists revered for their transformative properties, were systematically destroying the bodies of those who consumed them. The quest for immortality became a slow, agonizing form of suicide. Emperors, who had access to the most refined and supposedly powerful elixirs, were the primary victims. Historians now believe that many of the strange illnesses, bouts of paranoia, and premature deaths of Chinese emperors can be attributed to heavy metal poisoning. Qin Shi Huang, the first and most obsessed of them all, is thought to have died from mercury poisoning after consuming pills his alchemists promised would make him immortal. He was only 49. Several emperors of the powerful Tang dynasty also succumbed. They would experience fits of rage, hallucinations, and a slow physical decay, all while believing they were on the verge of achieving godhood. The very substance they thought symbolized rebirth was delivering only death. But in this tragic failure, something extraordinary happened. In their relentless effort to purify mercury, to dissolve gold, and to master the transformation of matter, the alchemists were unknowingly laying the groundwork for a revolution. They documented chemical reactions, developed sophisticated laboratory equipment, and created detailed classifications of minerals and substances. While chasing a fantasy, they were discovering the fundamental principles of chemistry. The mercury that killed their emperors also unlocked knowledge no one had ever seen before. The pursuit of eternal life, though a fatal endeavor, had accidentally opened the door to modern science. They ultimately failed to defeat death. No emperor ever became a god. No elixir ever granted a single day of extra life. The Immortal Islands remained a myth. In its primary goal, the great alchemical project was a complete and total failure. But to judge it by that metric is to miss the true significance of their legacy. From the ashes of this failed quest rose something far more valuable than immortality. The alchemists' meticulous experiments gave birth to new fields of knowledge. Their discoveries in metallurgy, for example, led to stronger alloys and more advanced craftsmanship. Their work with herbal remedies, conducted alongside their more esoteric experiments, laid the foundations for traditional Chinese medicine, a complex system of healing that is still practiced today. Gunpowder, one of the most transformative inventions in human history, was discovered by alchemists who were attempting to create an elixir of life. They mixed sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter, and instead of eternal life, they created an explosive force that would change the world forever. Their greatest legacy, however, was the scientific method itself. The process of forming a hypothesis, conducting experiments, observing results, and documenting findings, this was the very essence of their work. They were the bridge between ancient magic and modern chemistry. The mystical glow of the alchemist's laboratory slowly transformed into the bright, clear light of the modern scientific facility. The quest for immortality was never found. The dream was impossible. But in chasing that impossible dream, they transformed humanity's understanding of the world forever.